We have a question here. I might start on the answer, but the question is talking about increased rigor on these classes. High school GPAs will likely be lower than that at other high schools. Do colleges and universities recognize this and adjust GPAs accordingly? As I mentioned at the beginning, some may have been here for that or may not. One of my daughters is a graduate of Columbia River High School and IB diploma graduate, and then went on to attend the University of Washington. In the course of going to several different colleges and listening to applications and different things like that, time and again, now it may vary by college, but these were several different colleges: University of Washington, couple of different schools from the East Coast. Colleges look at several different things when they're looking at applicants, and one of those things is strength of schedule. I vividly, as a parent, remember the college representative from Boston University talking specifically about what a lot of colleges are thinking about is not always just the highest GPA. They're often looking at who are students who they are going to be able to enroll and maintain, who are students who are going to be able to continue through the 3, 4, 5 years that it takes to get a degree program. And so looking at that strength of schedule is important because they are looking at students who have been challenged and have been able to work at that high level. With that, the IB program nationally and internationally is well recognized as a strong college preparatory course. And so now there are some colleges that look strictly at GPA. And we don't have control over that, but there are many of colleges and universities that definitely take into account the strength of schedule that a student's taking. And I'll hand it over to anybody else to finish that off.
Well said, Mr. Duncan.
Yeah.
I'll go real quick, and then Morgan, and then Ms. Nygaard. You mentioned strength of schedule. We make a big deal about looking at the transcript and being able to read your own transcript as a learner, being able to review the labels that are on your transcript. So it's not just going to say biology. It would say IB biology. And that's a big deal when you start filling out those applications and when that's the part of your application packet. Also, something to keep in mind that we're seeing more and more based on last year's exam session that was interfered with the global pandemic. The transcripts are critically important. Those application materials, the SAT scores, we're seeing more and more of that's weighted on your daily experience and what the courses you enroll in and how you perform on a daily basis. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Morgan, and then let's hear from Julie.
I'll just add really quickly, I spend most of my days talking to colleges here, and I'd say that, you know, strength of schedule is really important, and just like Rob said, and I would say, like, as you're assessing your own kind of pathway and what you're thinking about as far as your class load, strength of schedule is important, but also a good GPA is important. And so you have to think about personally as a student, can I maintain both of those things? And so I'm not saying straight A's and 4.0, right? A student with a IB classes who has a little bit less of a GPA, even a 3.5 or, you know, a little bit lower, is going to be looked at in a different light than a student who took no difficult courses and has a 4.0. The IB student is going to be given preference because colleges are looking at those courses that somebody's taken. So I think that just takes a little bit of internal reflection on where you're going to be at. I mean, I don't want to, like, you know, getting into college is a little bit of a game. You have to kind of, if you can get an idea of where you maybe want to go-ish, you don't have to have it exactly figured out. We can work together and do some research on what those colleges really value too. So when you get here as a 9th grader, if you have an idea of what you want to look at, I'm happy to sit down with you and kind of talk about what that path looks like and help you make those decisions personally on what's going to set you up for whatever you are thinking you want to do after high school.
they've said everything about it. I don't need to add anything more.
There's been a couple of questions about our student body size. So questions about how many students are in each grade, how many students in each class.
So we have some restrictions on the number of students. We can't just keep dumping kids into classrooms, right? So the largest class we have through the contract is 32 students. So there's not going to be a class larger than that in a classroom. PE might have a few more people bumping around, but that's because we have larger space to dwell. The International Baccalaureate courses, particularly in the 11th and 12th grade, those IB diploma courses are oftentimes much smaller. It's much more intimate because of just the number of students that are striving for that full diploma. And so there is a rare opportunity for us to have a very full or overflowing IB course. And so the courses are small in terms of size. Class size, like I said a couple of times, we're right around 300 mark in each of our classes. We do tend to have students in the 11th and 12th grade will participate in different programs. And so that will take them off campus for the Cascadia Tech programs, for different magnets, and for Running Start. So those 12th grade, 11th grade classes are sometimes smaller. And so we all add up to around 1,180 in that range. And we love every one of these guys. They're here. Next question.
I am looking to see, I know that we might have talked about it a little bit earlier, Ms. Rodopal, but there's a question talking about athletes and sports and how that fits in with the IB program. Is there enough time to finish homework while having practice too?
Yeah. Yeah, so we have a couple of academic state championship banners hanging in the gym. And when I look at our bowling team, that's got a couple of full diploma candidates. When I look at our soccer state championship team, that's got multiple full diploma candidates, there is a way to balance all interests. That's just part of the commitment. And my personal observation is when you need something done, you ask a really busy person, right? When those people are focused and they're working on, they're working intentionally on activities and athletics and academics that they're engaged with. It's not a matter of losing time. It's a matter of doing what you love. And so we fully support that. We have a terrific traditions of excellence in each of our programs. And we are starting to rely more on our student leadership in what we're calling the Captain's Council, and trying to draw those connections between our history, where we were, and our new look as we change our mascot and move into the future. So we're excited about having to struggle with the schedule with multiple programs competing, but we need the metrics to improve for us so we can actually get kids on the field. Because right now we're not quite there, as many of you know. We have really small groups working, and we're looking forward to having those time constraints with multiple activities and pulling multiple ways.
So I was looking back through the questions, and one that I don't think we answered yet talked about, this is specific to, I believe, the CP program. Are there internship opportunities with career pathways? Are there project focuses with career pathways?
Yes, all of the above. So I didn't talk about it too much earlier, and you can check out the videos on our YouTube. It talks a little bit more about this. But one of the projects that our students do in their junior and senior year is called a reflective project. And during that effort, you are looking at an ethical issue within the career pathway that you are interested in. So for example, I know we had a computer science student who was really interested in getting more women into, and more like young women from 8th grade into 9th grade and then into college into the computer science field. And so she was thinking about looking at the ethical issue of how do we increase the number of women in that field. And that's a written project, and or you can also do kind of a visual representation along with that. So that would be a project focus. And of course, throughout whatever career pathway you choose in those classes, you'll be doing smaller projects all the way through your junior and senior year. And as far as internships, I think that is something that we are looking at. We've had a couple of students who this year actually that are a little bit ahead in the computer science coursework. So next year in their senior year, we'll be looking at doing some more of that off campus, like interning at a space that is focused on computer science. So I won't talk too much about this, but my last job was helping kids get internships in the community. So I'm really excited about the opportunity to work on that with our team. And I think that those opportunities will be growing over the next few years.
And Morgan, I'm going to start this one off with you. Another question, do you take the same courses in 9th and 10th grade if you're interested in the diploma program as the career related program? So I thought maybe you and Julie could talk about maybe some class differences if you're looking at two different programs.
Yeah, so Julie's going to be like, because we were just talking about this the other day. And the cool thing and the really challenging thing about the CP program is it's pretty flexible. And so my answer is that there's a difference and it could look different for every single student. So the things to keep in mind are just that if you come into the CP program, you're going to likely be taking 2 honors classes in your freshman year. Now, I say that knowing right off the bat that we don't start history until sophomore year. So there's a chance if your IB classes that you want to take are English and history, that you would only take 1 honors class your freshman year, and then you'd start your 2nd honors class in history your sophomore year, right? So that's just one example of how things might look different for students. And then depending on the career pathway you choose in your freshman and sophomore year, you may be doing something that's related to that. So for example, if computer science is kind of your track, then you may be taking a coding class in freshman or sophomore year, just kind of getting you ready to start that career pathway. And then I'll let Julie talk about the schedule for DP.
So for the diploma program, we would put students in 3 of our honors level courses freshman year, and that would be in honors English, honors biology, and honors math. And then sophomore year, we would add in honors history. We also want students to start a language course. If they have started one in 8th grade and want to continue that same language, we start them. They need to take a language 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade for the IB diploma program. So with the diploma program, they need to take the honors level courses all 4 years, well, 2 years, and then the IB courses, their last 2 years. So the difference being is with the CP, students don't have to take as many of the honors level courses 9th and 10th grade. However, as an 8th grader going into 9th grade, we want to keep doors open. We know that plans change, that choices change, and we don't want to close any doors. So the more honors classes you can take 9th grade and 10th grade, the more options you will have for the career-related program, the diploma classes that you need to take junior and senior. So it is to your best advantage to take as many as you can or as many as you want your 9th and 10th grade as a career-related program student. But for the diploma program, you are pushed into those honors level classes, both 9th and 10th grade, not an option.
And I'll just piggyback really quick, something for everybody to think about with the career related program is that if you aren't taking algebra in your 8th grade year, you really need to be thinking about taking English and history as your honors options, because if you aren't in algebra, then our science courses require a certain level of math once you get into the IB level. And so just be thinking if like you're not in algebra now, like am I a good candidate to go down that English and history route for honors courses too?
Right.
So it looks like we're kind of running through most of our questions. I did add in the chat, just a reminder, if you haven't already, encouraging you to take a look at the YouTube playlist that we've put together. The link is on the district website, or Columbia River website, and I'm also putting it in the chat right now. There is our introductory video, which talks about the 2 different programs and also goes into great detail about the application process. And then we also have a lot of different videos that have been put together by our different IB course instructors. So that'll give you a good idea about courses for both the DP and the CP classes. So we really encourage you to take a look at that if you haven't already, or if other questions come up. I'm also encouraging folks, if there's not a question that we've answered tonight, or if a question comes up as you're taking a look at things, we're encouraging you to contact us. You could email or call and get in contact with either Julie Nygaard or Morgan Parker, or Mr. Odepal or myself, and we'd be glad to help get you connected to an answer to your questions.